Hi, everyone. Welcome to Personal Statement Deep Dive. We're just going to take a second to make sure we get everybody in. We have a big crowd here tonight, which makes me very happy. While we're waiting for everyone to come in, remember to enter to win a free spot in our dental school application boot camp. While we get started, you can use the QR code and then registering for at bit.ly/dental app bootcamp. I believe I'm going to say it's a $1,200 value. I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's a good deal. You want free stuff. Absolutely. If you're going to professional school. So I think we've got everyone in. I'm happy you're all here. My name is Ellen Watts. This is Personal Statement Deep Dive, what to say and what not to say, which really is very much a part of what concerns everyone, right? I've got to say the right thing. While we're here, use this QR code, sign up for Leland, and you'll be able to access myself and every other dental school boot camp presenter on the Leland website. So why don't we get going? This is an exciting week for us. Tomorrow we have interview prep, what to expect and how to succeed. Oh, I'm sorry, that's today. Apologies, it already happened. Now we're up to me, right? Personal statement deep dive. Then we've got the dental school application office hours, how to succeed, how I scored a 25 on the DAT, gain competitive advantage, and getting into your dream dental school. So take advantage of these free events. Okay, so a little bit about me very briefly. I started my career working over a decade as the director of admissions at Columbia College of Dental Medicine. And so what that means for you is that I have screened thousands, tens of thousands of applications, read personal statements until, they were coming out my ears. I was a voting member of the admissions committee. I was on the scholarship committee, and I did the majority of the interviewing and recruiting off campus, so on the West Coast, in the South, and in the Midwest. So I have a great wealth of experience in what dental schools are looking for. I moved on from Columbia Dental School to be a dean in the post-baccalaureate program at Columbia University, where I worked with non-traditional students who were seeking acceptance to health professions programs. Did that for about 10 years and then was assistant dean for pre-health at Fordham University on the Rose Hill campus in the Bronx for a little more than 10 years. I helped to build that program. So what that tells you is that I have admissions committee experience. I've worked with non-traditional students and I've worked with traditional students, all in kind of long swaths of time. So there are very few situations that I don't understand when people are trying to prepare for and enter professional school. So I'm happy to share my knowledge with you. Okay, so with our personal statement, when you're applying to dental school, as I'm sure you all know, AADSAS is the common application. The personal statement in AADSAS is 4,500 characters. That is about 700 words. It's one page, 12 font, single spaced. You do not have a lot of space. As much as 4,500 seems like a lot, you do not have a lot of space to kind of share with the admissions committee who you are and what your motivations are. The key to this is not wasting time, right? Not wasting space. So it's your only voice in the application. There's letters of recommendation written on your behalf. Yes, there's a transcript which represents what you've done in class, but at no point do you get to actually talk to the admissions committee in the application except for in this area. So you get to introduce yourself and put a spotlight on why you're here, why you want to do this, and really convince the reader that you have something to offer the school as well as dentistry. So what it's not is a place to explain your academics if you've had kind of any problems. It is not a rambling, drawn out, descriptive story of something that eventually gets to your point. And it's certainly not another version of your resume. Everything you've ever done does not need to go in the personal statement because everything you've ever done is already in the AADSAS application. So if you reference something you did as a student athlete playing basketball, they're going to be able to go and look and really see how long did you play basketball? You were a student athlete. What program were you in? What other sports were you in, right? That all exists in the application. So you don't have to provide context for every single thing you've done. And going back to the grades, a lot of people really want to zero in on why they got a C in that first semester of organic chemistry. And this is just not the place for that, right? That's not part of your motivation or part of your success or your experience in dentistry, right? People kind of stumble sometimes in their grades, but it's not important enough, believe it or not, to take up a place in this very limited space that you have. So how do you begin? People always say, I don't know what to write. I don't know what to talk about. Nothing remarkable has ever happened to me. I just know I want to be a dentist and I prepared for it. And here I am. Well, what you want to do is you want to brainstorm. You want to not think about 4,300 characters. You want to think about endless characters and just start writing. Everybody I'm sure has a simple idea of what they might want to say. Start writing it, start describing it, start talking about it. You said I put here voice to text. A lot of people like to do it that way rather than writing, just talking, just saying, oh, well, it was seventh grade and we were doing a career fair at school and I started thinking about becoming a dentist. Get it all down on paper, right? Because you can always edit and rearrange, but if you don't put it down, stream of consciousness, you're never going to get it out of your head. And most helpfully, a lot of people say to me, I don't know how to say this. How I wish I could say it in interview speak. I wish I could say it in personal statement speak. Well, just start by just saying it, and you would be surprised at how often that is the appropriate way to say something. You're communicating again, it's your voice. So you just want to get the information out there. So you're going to give yourself kind of a big, huge draft to work from and then edit back. So what I'm going to concentrate on tonight is the opening paragraph, which is really the most important part of your personal statement. The reason for that is because if I'm screening your application and I'm sitting and Tuesday afternoon is when I have carved out time to review applications for the week, I might be doing 50 or 75 or 100 of them, reading through them, and you might be the 100th one I'm reading. I am not committed to reading every word that you write in that personal statement just because of the volume of material I'm trying to get through. I will open it up, I will look at it, and I'll start to skim. That's the truth, right? The person who's interviewing you is going to read it word for word, sentence for sentence, but the person who's screening the application might just be skimming, saying, let me see if there's anything interesting here. So if that first paragraph pulls them in right away, then I'm going to read a little bit more. I'm going to say, oh, this is something I haven't read before. This looks interesting. And I'm going to keep reading. And that's what you want. You want me to be interested in reading your story. So that first paragraph has got to be tight. You can't waste characters and waste sentences and waste my time. I read one or two sentences. If I don't get a sense of where it's going or it's starting to be a big, drawn out story, I'm not going to stick with it. I will then be evaluating everything else in there and think, well, that was kind of nothing. Let me skim the rest. Okay, let me move on. Is that going to hurt you? It's not. It's not going to hurt you to have a personal statement that doesn't tell me a lot, but it's not going to be the help that it could be, right? A good personal statement can really, really help you get the screener to go deeper into your application. So that first paragraph is going to be tight, it's going to be interesting, and it's going to introduce some topics that you're then going to follow up on later. So what we're going to do tonight is kind of go through this first paragraph that I received from someone, right? And I don't mean to kind of bore you, but I'm going to read through it and then we're going to edit. And I'm going to tell you from the point of view of an admissions committee member who's screening your application, what I get out of this paragraph. So our prime purpose in this life is to help others. And if you can't help them, at least don't hurt them. It's a quote from the Dalai Lama. I have explored multiple options for my life's work with the hope of helping people. I first considered being a doctor, but did not find the lifestyle conducive to my future. While I love science, the idea of life and death was not a concept I wanted to face in my career. Then I considered being a high school teacher, maybe science, so I could share my interest with others, as my teachers did for me. Finally, I landed on dentistry, which has everything I want. I'm good with my hands, I love science, and I'm good with people. It will allow me to serve others while doing something compatible with my natural abilities and personal interests. I'm eager to work towards my goals and attain new heights from the distinct perspectives of others. Similarly, I hope my experiences will be impactful to those I meet along the way. So someone wrote this, probably a bunch of people looked it over and said, this is really good, right? You want your experiences to be impactful on others, you're good with people, you want to serve others. I'm getting a lot out of this. Here's what I, as the screener, is getting out of this. And I've color coded this, right? So this red part here, our prime purpose in this life is to help others. And if you can't help them, at least don't hurt them. Dalai Lama. So I know this person is a fan of the Dalai Lama. That's all I know, because those aren't your words, right? You have given me a quote of something someone else said. So I've learned nothing about you except that you're a fan of the Dalai Lama. Then in black, I've explored multiple options for my life's work with the hope of helping people. Okay, that tells me a little something, kind of you want a meaningful career. So then the green part. I first considered being a doctor, but did not find the lifestyle conducive to my future. While I love science, the idea of life and death was not a concept I wanted to face in my career. Immediately, I'm calling out the fact that you said you do not want to be a doctor. What you're trying to say is you do not want to be a physician. But what you've said is doctor. A dentist is also a doctor of dental surgery. So you're not using the right terminology. It's understandable. It's a mistake that people make, but it's telling me that you're not zeroed in on the specifics of this career because no dentist would ever say that. They would always refer to a physician, right? So then the yellow part, I considered being a high school teacher, maybe science, so I could share my interests with others as my teachers did for me. What I've learned there is that you don't want to be a high school teacher and that maybe you like science, not telling me a lot about you. Finally, I landed on dentistry, which has everything I want. Okay, so we know you want to be a dentist, but we kind of knew that because you already put in your application. I'm good with my hands, I love science, and I'm good with people. Okay, those are good statements to give me, right? It will allow me to serve others while doing something compatible with my natural abilities and personal interests. Okay, interesting. I'm eager to work towards my goals and attain new insights from the distinct perspectives of others. Similarly, I hope my experiences will be impactful to those I meet along the way. So that's interesting. That's telling me a little something about your motivation. So we started out with 954 characters there. 22% of the space you have. You have used up almost a quarter of the room you have, right? 67 characters, 15 words. I'm good with my hands. I love science and I'm good with people. That was that part previously back here, right? Right here. Good with my hands. I love science and I'm good with people. This opening statement was 117 characters and it wasn't your own words. So this was of no help to me. Remember, you're only working with 4,300 characters. So we take that out. So this is how I helped the person edit it. We took out the Dalai Lama part and we took out all the part about being a doctor and did not find the lifestyle conducive. I love science, but I didn't want life and death. I thought of maybe being a high school teacher, but I'm obviously not because I'm applying to dental school. All you've told me in this middle area that I've cut out is what you don't want to do. And that's not helpful to me because what you chose to move away from with your career choice has no impact on where you are now. Right. So you want to tell the story and you want to say, you know, I didn't quite know what I wanted to do and I considered everything and I thought about a lot of things. That is not a story that needs to be shared in your personal statement because it's not telling me anything about you and your motivations. Right. So we take that out. We're now down to 510 characters. That's getting a little bit better, right? We started out with up to, I think, over 900. I've explored multiple options for my life's work with the hope of helping people. I landed on dentistry, which has everything I want. I'm good with my hands, I love science, and I'm good with people. It will allow me to serve others while doing something compatible with my natural abilities and personal interests. I'm eager to work towards my goals and attain new insights from the distinct perspectives of others. Similarly, I hope my experiences will be impactful to those I meet along the way. Okay, we've cut out a lot of the fat, but where are we going with this part? What do we know? We've got a lot of blanket statements, and that doesn't help. I want to help people. I'm good with my hands. I love science. I'm good with people, and I want insights from distinct perspectives. I don't even know what that means, really. Right? That's kind of wordy. So, what do we say is the best way to write something? And I will tell you is that we show, we don't tell, right? You're never going to say, I think all of you know at this point, you're never going to say, I want to help people. That's something that is taboo in these statements. But by wanting to go into healthcare, you do want to help people. Pause for a drink. Okay. Oh, you know what? We've got a little commercial in here, and I think Andrew's going to hop in and give us a little infomercial, give everyone a break.
Hello, thanks, Ellen. This has been great information so far. Just want to chime in here to talk about the boot camp. I hope everyone applied to it at the beginning, but if not, I'm going to recap real quick what this says. Obviously, we're celebrating Dental Week right now with a lot of free events, but This is just to help you prepare for application week. If you actually want to get through applications successfully with the help of Leland and coaches in a more in-depth level, this is the place to do it. So obviously you'll see in the chat, Amanda just dropped the link to it. If not, you can type in your browser bit.ly/dental@bootcamp. But I'm going to talk a little bit more about what this will entail. If you want to go to the next slide. Ellen, if you could hit the next slide, that'd be great.
Yep,
Thank you so
there we
much. Yeah. So obviously this week we're recapping some great stuff about, preparing for applications, but Ellen will actually be hosting some of these sessions as well when it comes to the bootcamp if you want to get some more of her. But you'll see that this bootcamp is going to be a lot more in depth when it comes to the application, actual workshops, prepping for interviews, essay prep, and much more. And then if you go to the next slide, you'll see that it's not just live sessions such as these, but you'll get some peer-to-peer feedback. You'll get some discounts to meet with people like Ellen, some activities, meeting with a Q&A and a network of people. And one of the biggest, most important things is a mock interview. If you try to meet with coaches like Ellen one-on-one, sometimes that could be hundreds of dollars. And normally this bootcamp alone is a couple grand. But what we're doing today for everyone on this call, if you click next, you'll see that we're going to discount this for half the price, or even less, $600. So obviously one person tonight will win kind of the free giveaway for the boot camp, but everyone else will have the opportunity to attend the boot camp for $600. And what you'll do when you apply is if you don't win the free giveaway, you'll get a text message from me, and then you can text me directly and ask questions about the boot camp. And we would love to have you attend. So that's a little plug again about the boot camp. And at the end, we'll announce who the winner is. So if you go to the next slide, Ellen.
Oop. There we go.
Once again, type in that website, and then we'll announce the winner at the end, but everyone else will have that opportunity to get the boot camp at that, discounted rate just for being here in attendance today. So if you have any questions, please let us know. But that's all I have. Back to you, Ellen.
Thanks, Andrew. And we are putting a lot of work into this boot camp too, so I think you're all really going to enjoy it. Okay, back to the edits of our first cut down, right? We're on draft 2.0. So we're taking out that first sentence, right? The first two sentences. I've explored multiple options for my life's work with the hope of helping people. We don't need to say, I want to help people. And I landed on dentistry, which has everything I want. You probably at this point know what I'm going to say about that. You've put an application into my school. I know that you want dentistry, so you don't have to articulate that. So we're back to I'm good with my hands, I love science, and I'm good with people. It will allow me to serve others while doing something compatible with my natural abilities and personal interests. I'm eager to work towards my goals. I think we're all working towards our goals, especially when we get to the point of applying to professional school. So again, does not need to be stated, doesn't tell me anything about you. So we turn that into I'm eager to attain new insights from the distinct perspectives of others. Similarly, I hope my experiences will be impactful to those I meet along the way. We don't really need to say that. Again, not telling me much about you other than, you hope you'll do good work. So we don't need that. And we're still a little confused about the distinct perspectives of others. So we've gone from 900 characters, 9+, down to 271. Now we've cut out a lot of fat. Now we know I'm good with my hands, I love science, and I'm good with people. Well, you probably already know you're going to say that to me, and I'm going to say, don't tell me, show me. Dentistry will allow me to serve others while doing something compatible with my natural abilities and personal interests. I'm eager to attain new insights from the distinct perspectives of others. We don't have a lot of fat here, but now we're starting to have kind of some broad statements, right? I'm good with my hands. So what I did with this client was I said, what do you do? You're good with your hands. What do you like to do? Well, I like painting. It's been a hobby for a long time, and I actually love sculpture. I just got into that. That is better than saying I'm good with my hands. Painting has been a hobby since I was 6 years old, and in high school, I fell in love with sculpture. That is someone who has the manual dexterity that I know will spell success in my operative lab. I love science. What do you mean you love science? Well, at Smith Jones College, my love of science led to a major in biology with an eye towards entering the field of healthcare, and I minored in fine arts. Those are important factors, right? You came in, you knew you wanted healthcare, but you weren't sure what direction you were going in, but you picked up a bio major, yet you stayed with your passion and your interest, which was fine arts. Most people's minor is often something they really enjoy, and they're saying, this is just kind of the last time I can do this purely for the love of doing it. So I love to see what a minor is. Some people pick up 2 minors, always interesting. I'm good with people, right? Those of you reading ahead, see where we're going with this. Don't tell me you're good with people because I don't believe you, because that's just a random thing anybody could say. Show me. It was in college that I realized I wanted my career to involve working with others in a problem solving capacity. Now, this didn't come right off the top of someone's head, but this is what we built to. I volunteered with the elderly in my community, and I was elected social chair of my sorority, each roles that were service oriented and brought great satisfaction. You're making the community a better place for your actions. You're enjoying it through service, and the benefit that I see in here, little thing, you were elected social chair of your sorority. Your peers put you in a position of authority. It might be minor, it might not even be that big of a deal in real life, but the fact is you were elected, and so you're going to build up on that. So dentistry will allow me to serve others while doing something compatible with my natural abilities and personal interest. Being a dentist combines these interests I have just detailed for you, right? And also provides an artistic outlet. I know that you like painting, you love sculpture, and you minored in fine arts. So you are an artistic person. Everyone I know in the dental field is an artistic person. So this is starting to become a very good fit because you also love science. So this weird part about insights from the distinct perspectives of others turned into my volunteer work introduced me to perspectives from cultures different from my own. That's cultural competency and cultural humility. That's very important. And I hope to have a career in which I continue to learn from others. I am open to who people are. I love them. I want to meet them. And that's part of what I enjoy. So the third draft, this was just 3 drafts. We got to 753 characters, which granted, closer to the 900 something we started with, but I'm learning so much about this person in the opening paragraph. Painting has been a hobby since I was 6 years old. And in high school, I fell in love with sculpture, right? So I know that you're artistic. At Smith Jones College, not in college, but giving the name of the college because you're giving me perspective. I might not have looked over your transcript. Everything I read here, I want it to flesh out the story of your life. I don't want to have to go searching to see what college you went to. I'm reading your personal statement. Tell me. My love of science led to a major in biology with an eye towards entering the field of healthcare. I minored in fine arts. Super important. It was in college that I realized I wanted my career to involve working with others in a problem-solving capacity. I volunteered with the elderly in the community and was elected social chair of my sorority. Each roles that were service-oriented brought great satisfaction. Those are some of the core competencies for healthcare, right? Service orientation is a big deal. Being a dentist combines those interests and also provides an artistic outlet. My volunteer work introduced me to perspectives different from my own, and I hope to have a career in which I can continue to learn from others. If you're going to be a dentist, you are going to spend a tremendous amount of time with your patients, chairside, right? And I want to know you enjoy that. I want to know that that is one of the defining roles of what you want to do. So, what impressions do I have now as the director of admissions reading this first paragraph? That a painter, sculptor, minored in fine arts. That's a big plus. Majored in bio, and I know what the college is. So, as I'm reading this, I know where this person is geographically. I've got a community volunteer member. I've got someone who is elected to a leadership position by their peers. So there's a level of respect and responsibility there. I know that dentistry gathers everything they want instead of saying in first grade, we did a career exploration and I decided I wanted to be a dentist. You found this out through pulling together all your interests. Appreciates different perspectives and enjoys learning from and about others, right? So you're going to be a member of the community. So look at the difference here. We've gone from 954 characters to 753 characters, and this was only 3 edits, right? Very easy for me to cut out what doesn't matter. And I think after going through these 2 right here and take a moment and kind of compare them, you could probably do it also, right? So let's think about what this first one talked about, a quote from the Dalai Lama. I considered being a doctor, right? Using terminology that's not appropriate for this. This is why I didn't do it. I didn't like life and death. Then I considered being a high school teacher. Finally, I landed on dentistry. That doesn't really sound like someone who is really passionate about it. You finally landed on it. I'm good with my hands. I love science. I'm good with people. Are you? Because I'm not getting any details about that. And this is Remember the 100th application I've screened. So I'm scanning and I'm just not seeing any details coming out of this. Whereas in the next one, I'm suddenly seeing that you are a painter. I know where you went to college. I know what you majored in. I know what you minored in, and I understand the aspects of the career that are attractive to you. And that's only the first paragraph. So I'm saying to myself, I want to read a little bit more about this person, right? I want to know about the sculpture. I now want to go a little bit deeper and see how they learned that dentistry combined all these aspects. I want to know what they did in the clinic and who they worked with and what stories they have to tell about how they found it fascinating in practice, not just in theory. Because right now we do simply see in this one that it's just in theory. But I'm assuming, because this is a well-written first paragraph, that I'm going to go deeper into it and get some more details about what it looks like in practice. So the steps to doing this is you have to brainstorm. You have to put down thousands and thousands and thousands of characters, everything that ever popped in your head, everything your mom or dad told you would make you a good dentist, everything that you enjoyed or didn't enjoy about being a bio major, everything that you enjoyed or didn't enjoy about being a fine arts major or a history major or whatever it is. If you have a non-traditional major, something outside of STEM, we want to talk about that because I'm excited about what you're going to bring to the table as someone who's studied something in depth other than STEM. Because if I'm bringing you in for interview, I know that your prereqs are in good shape. So you're going to be really interesting. Tell me why you were a history major, right? Talk to me a little bit about why you majored in Spanish or modern languages or the classics. I've had people major in everything you can imagine, and those are some of the most interesting interviews. Usually the answer is because I love it, and this was the last time I would be able to dive into it in depth. That tells me that's someone who's intellectually curious, and that's what I want. So you're going to brainstorm and you're going to put down everything you ever thought of in your life, right? And then you're going to ignore it for a little bit. You're just going to let it go for a week or so and just let it sit. Then you're going to go back to it. And you're going to think about this presentation. You're going to start to edit out the parts that are just too wordy, the parts that don't tell me anything about you, and very often um, reference back to the previous sentence or the previous paragraph. People are very, very big on beginning their sentences with phrases. I have always believed that dentistry would be a great fit for me. Take out, I have always believed that. Save those characters and say, dentistry is a good fit for me, right? That's more direct, and you've saved 50% of the characters in that sentence, right? So you're going to self edit. You're going to go in and you're just going to start crossing out everything that doesn't work. Asking yourself, is this specific to what I'm doing, or is it broad based saying I'm good with people, right? You're going to edit some more. You're going to say, is this about me or someone else? Have I got caught up in telling the story of a family member or someone else who had treatment without tying my own involvement into it? Start asking yourself those questions and then edit some more, right? You're going to edit, edit, edit. That's what this is all about. So in this, the top tips here are that you're talking to someone. You're not telling your life story. So think about the difference there. There's the idea of, if you're a business major, you know, the elevator pitch, right? You have 30 seconds if you find yourself in an elevator with Bill Gates to say, hey, here's who I am, here's what I'm doing that's interesting, and here's why you should hire me. Instead of saying, hey, Bill Gates, I was born in Buffalo. Then I ended up going to Albany for college. First, I decided to major in biology, and then I changed it to business. And then suddenly Bill Gates is at his floor and he's gone, right? So you're thinking of, how do I kind of tell my story to someone when I'm talking to them? So you don't use cliches. You don't want to help people. You don't love science. It's not your calling, your passion, or your vocation. My goodness, never say that, right? Because this isn't some ethereal job. It's not a calling. It's not a passion. It's not a vocation. It is a very challenging field that you want to enter because it's rewarding for you and you have a lot to offer it. But no one kind of dropped a hand down and defined that you should be a dentist. So you're going to show and not tell. I am good with my hands versus my hobbies include woodworking and fly fishing. That's much more descriptive of who you are. Don't make blanket statements and be as simple as possible. 3 words instead of 5, 1 adjective instead of 2. That goes back to the edit. Always be cutting out the words you don't need, because every sentence should be tight and to the point and telling me something about you, right? So what you don't want to do, as I said, no blanket statements. I like to help people. I'm good with my hands. I want to make a difference. right? Tell me stories or give me details about yourself that make that clear. You don't waste characters. As I said, you cut out anything that you don't need. And very often I would see people being critical of healthcare professionals, whether it was other dentists or physicians or physicians' assistants, people saying, you know, when I was little, I went to the dentist and he wasn't very friendly and I needed a lot of work done and I was always very scared. But it wasn't until I got to my orthodontist that I really began to feel comfortable and began to think about this as a career. I don't need to hear the bad part. I don't need to hear how your first dentist was not nice to you. It just leaves a negative aura around it, and it's not necessary because the important part of that story is that you loved your orthodontist, and that's the part you should begin with. Don't retell your story. People often don't realize that they say the same thing twice, or they reference the same experience twice, or they use 2 or 3 or 4 sentences to tell a story about falling off a bike, right? Say it once and move forward to the next part of the story or to why it was meaningful for you. And my own personal pet peeve, don't include a summary paragraph. This is a 1-page essay. You don't have to spend 500 characters summing up what I just read 10 seconds ago. I can remember that part of it. And if I can't, I can just look back. I don't even have to turn a page. It's all on 1 page. A summary paragraph is wasted characters where you're not telling me anything new. You're just going back here and you're retelling your story. And it's just not necessary. There's something called the inverted pyramid in journalism that says the most important information is at the top, right? And as you go lower and lower in journalism, there's an assumption that people aren't reading all the way down. They get the gist of it and they move on. So the least important information is at the end. You do not need a summary paragraph. You can talk about hobbies, you can talk about something else, but don't waste 500, 600 characters saying, so in summary, it's my biology major, my fine arts minor, and my experience volunteering for an endodontist, which makes me realize this is a good fit for me. Literally just read that, right? So don't waste that space. You have to show the reader why you want to do it and how you have prepared. And whatever method you choose, whatever story you want to tell that illustrates that, that's up to you. But after reading halfway through it, I should be right there, right? I should be on board with you and saying, okay, fell off a bike, knocked the front teeth out at age 8. There was a lot of blood. It was very frightening and everything turned out okay. And the dentist really was very impactful. And so it was always in your head that you wanted to do this. And now I'm reading about how you went out and worked in clinics and volunteered and really kind of reinforced to yourself. Falling off the bike and getting braces are 2 very, very popular essay topics for dental school. And the fact is, that's okay. If that's your story, it doesn't matter if it's someone else's story also, because as long as it's genuine, it rings true to me, right? As long as I'm reading it and I'm getting the sense that this was something that happened to you as a kid, or braces were something that really gave you back your confidence as a teen during what were kind of really self-confident, angsty years. That's why people go into dentistry, right? That's why people go into orthodontics specifically. So if anything happened to you and you're like, yeah, but that's too cliche, everyone does that. It's not cliche if it happens to you, right? Saying, I want to help people is cliche. Telling a story from your own life that might be similar to other people's is okay because you all want to go to dental school. So it stands to reason that you might have some shared experiences along the way that have shown you that this is the right path for you. And that's okay because that's still your story. I have really rarely, if ever, read an essay where there was this kind of dramatic, impactful experience that I never saw anyone else have before. You don't have to worry that everybody else has one and you don't. As long as you have a reason why you want to do this, that's good. That's what we like to see. Okay, so I am happy to announce the giveaway winner. How many of you have entered? I hope you all have. And I'm going to ask our giveaway winner to unmute and give us a little shout of joy. Congratulations to Paula Rojas. Paula, our team will be in touch with you via email soon, but let's hear a little shout from you. Paula, don't be
Good
shy.
night. Hello.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm
What?
so excited.
Woo,
I
everyone
have
hop in
to.
the chat and give a little applause to Paula. Here we go. Look at that. Angie, John, there you go. This is a good community of folks. Love it. Congratulations, Paula. Very exciting for you. Okay, so thank you all for joining me. I think we've got about 5 minutes, and I see that there was a number of questions that popped in the chat here, and I want to try and answer some of them if I can. So just bear with me. Let's see. Okay, I started a jewelry business. I'm going to get to that. I want to start at the top. But yes, jewelry business would be a very good thing. Is it okay to include stuff from high school? High school is too far back, but if what you are currently doing started in high school, you can reference that. But I want to know what you're doing now. So college and beyond is what's important. Um, wouldn't these facts like the hobbies or what you majored in be things that will be in the application? Yes, maybe that's not part of the story you want to tell, but it's really good to kind of in that first paragraph, give me a little context of who you are and where you're coming from, because sometimes a reader's going right to the personal statement. Let's see. I switched to dentistry due to a dental tragedy in my family. By that time, I had time in medical school. That is really interesting. That's very personal. I'll need to know more about that, but that does sound like something that you would need to talk about. You should probably set up a free 15-minute appointment with me and we'll talk about it. Paula had a question. Would it be a good idea to mention a negative experience such as illness that led me to choose it? Yeah, because you're not speaking negatively about someone else, right? You can talk a little bit about what it is, but you don't want to dwell on it. Manual dexterity through a jewelry business. That's very interesting. Yeah, I love that. That would be great. First, should we make like an intro pointing to things we want to say? You can do that. Yeah, like the one that kind of I illustrated for you. We touched on a lot of things, and as I read further in that, I would expect to hear more about those things. What should we say in the first paragraph? I think we kind of went through that. Okay, let's see. Any other questions that anyone might have? We got a lot of congrats in here for Paula. Love it. Was there one particular personal statement you never forgot? There was one. I'm not going to tell you what it was, but it was more just kind of a funny intro that caught my attention. I will tell you the one that I never forgot that I think ruined somebody's life. It was before everything was online, obviously. It was back in the probably the early 90s. And so all the applications were paper, and we would get huge boxes of them once every 2 weeks. And we would have to put the transcript together with it, put the letters of rec together with it. It was just this very paper heavy process. And so I received an envelope, kind of 8.5 by 11 envelope from someone saying that there was additional information they wanted to share for their application. And it was an entire essay about how they were a very, very precise person, that they were very exacting in everything they did. And this was why they wanted dentistry, and everything they did, they checked over not once, but twice. And they were obsessed with perfection. And it went on and on and on like that. And they wanted the reader to know that, they were very precise. I guess they felt that was important to dentistry. Unfortunately for this person, they had put in the envelope the rough draft of that and not the final draft. So there was a lot of circling in red pencil, which I still remember, a lot of arrows, a lot of stars. It was the most imprecise thing I ever received in my life. So I kind of thought it was funny. And I called the person up to let them know, because I figured that they probably at some point would realize the wrong thing went in the wrong envelope. And I just wanted to let them know it was okay. Mistakes happen. This person screamed to a level that I think my ears still have not recovered from, and started screaming and crying and sobbing on the phone. So that was a very memorable one. And I will tell you that I said to the person, listen, calm down, call me tomorrow. We'll work this out. It's really okay. But nothing is that important, I think, is what the takeaway from that should be. It was okay. They just made a slight mistake. Let's see, I have a capstone on a dental related topic as part of completing an MPH. Yeah, that's fantastic, right? I think that you definitely that's very specific to you, to your education, and to your interest, and to your broad understanding of the field. I think that's fantastic. Let's Frowned upon to mention a loved one. No, but don't tell me a tremendous amount of details about a loved one, right? If you want to go into this field because of something that happened to your grandparent or your aunt or your uncle, very brief statement about what it was that happened. We don't need extreme details about that. Dexterity via miniature painting. I think that sounds very interesting. Writing the body paragraphs. Well, the body paragraphs are going to follow through with what we said. You're following up on what you opened up with and trying to keep it to the point and give details about yourself and not other people. Motherhood and caretaking to become a dentist. Absolutely. As a mother, I would say yes. Should I include my achievements like publications in my personal statement? No, there is an area for publications in the AADSAS. If research has been important to you and impactful, talk about your time in the research lab, but no specific details like publication details. Father's an orthodontist. He's the inspiration. That's okay, but I want to know that you learned about dentistry from other people in addition to your father. What did you do? How did you go out and learn about how other parts of dentistry exist, right? I don't want to think that you think you're going into the family business. You've got to investigate this on your own. High school, yeah, well, if you were a dental assistant in high school, for sure we want to talk about that, right? None of these rules are hard and fast, they're just guidelines. For an international dentist, it can be tough. That personal statement is hard. I do have an international dentist package if you want to look at that. Let's see. Hobbies that are considered taboo. I would not say so. Very little is considered taboo except the things I said that kind of go negative, right? Ignoring other people, not ignoring, but disparaging other professions and things like that. Did the student get in? I honestly don't remember, but I will tell you that we did not penalize her for that, not one bit. I was calling her to put her mind at ease because I thought she might have known that she put the wrong thing in the envelope. I did not make that part of her application. I put no notes on there. Dean of admissions. Oh yeah, ChatGPT. I forgot to erase it. That's what you get. Use your own words. You don't need ChatGPT because you have lived this, right? No one is reading your application and saying, oh, I give this a C-. They want your story, right? They don't care how professionally it's written. You write well enough. How I would work with people and how I do work with people is crafting the telling of your story, not saying that, diagramming sentences and making sure it looked like it was written by ChatGPT. You don't want that. Don't even put yourself through that. There's no reason why. You're technically breaking the rules because you verify through the application, the AADSAS, that all the work is your own. But it's a big deal in advising. I have a meeting in a couple of weeks where we're going to be talking about it. If your dental internship in high school drove your motivation for dental school, absolutely, right? But that's where you start, and then you jump ahead to what else you did in college. Dental sales supply rep. That would be interesting, right? Motivated me to become a dentist. Yes, that's unique. I haven't seen that. I actually saw one person was in pharmaceutical sales, but I haven't seen the supply rep. But that's interesting. Should I try and start with a hook? As I said, you don't have to start with a hook. Just tell your story. Money problems, how that's influenced your decision. There's a way to talk about that. Yes. Absolutely. I would say there's a lot of things you can talk about. You could talk about any sort of social issues, any sort of financial insecurity, healthcare insecurity, food insecurity, anything you've gone through, being a first generation student, being LGBTQ, anything that is unique in those areas is a kind of an indicator for success. You have made it this far and things have kind of been against you in society. So that tells me that you have a drive and a motivation. But again, it's unique how you would tell that story. You wouldn't just kind of drop it on the page. Oral facial trauma, yes, yeah, absolutely, right? So you had your own personal experience with an extreme form of dental restoration. We would certainly want to know about that, and then how you moved on to see it from the provider's point of view, not the patient's point of view. Writing the supplemental essays. So we'll be talking a little bit about this in the boot camp. They are specific to the school, so they're not going to be so generic. Oh, play drums on a professional level. Absolutely mentioned that. That's fantastic. Can I mention COVID in my personal statement? Well, how impactful was it, right? You do have the COVID essay, so there's room to write about it there, but we'll see. You have to decide what's important to you. Okay, I think we're kind of running out of time. We've gone over a little bit here. I think you guys, your questions are fantastic. I would encourage anyone who is able to do so to join the boot camp. I'm doing 2 sessions of it on the personal statement again, so we're going to go a little bit deeper into it. If you'd like to work together, schedule a free 15-minute meeting with me. And if you're just kind of not sure where to start or what package would be right for you, the Leland team can help you to determine that. So their QR code is on the right. Mine is on the left. I hope you have enjoyed this. I hope it's been helpful for you. Leland is a great organization. We're really helping a tremendous number of pre-dental students through the pathway that I'm on. And so I hope that I'll get to work with some of you in this upcoming cycle. Good luck to everyone.